Hey guys, welcome to the mid-season finale for Rainbow Powers. They're going on a huge hiatus after this, so it actually allows me to give you more content in and out of Pony, especially when it comes to Pony panels. And it's funny because this week's episode, Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sleep, is a kind of series canon revision of the Nightmare Rarity arc, except with no Nightmare Rarity and a few alterations. But the basic setup is the same. The main six seem to be having this universal nightmare. Not to mention, Luna seems to be having the same nightmare. The reason? A shadowy magical figure known as the Tantabus. Now, the Tantabus is pretty much the source of all nightmares in this world. And it's been causing Luna some big problems. It's finally escaped her dream world and entered the world of others. And it's up to Luna to reluctantly ask for the help of the Harmony Six in trying to track it down. And I say reluctantly because even when they're called in after bad dreams for them, and trust me, they haven't been sleeping well. Similar to the beginnings of the Nightmare Rarity arc, Twilight sends a letter over to Luna, and Luna responds very quickly, almost a second. And of course, by the way, spoilers if I didn't say it already. So, the six end up having individual dreams. These individual dreams, strangely, are filled with references and each personality trait. Pinkie Pie goes world hopping, seemingly breaking the fourth wall in her dreams. Twilight dreams of, well, books. Rainbow Dash dreams of, well, being a tomboyish hero. Beating up changelings, strangely. Fluttershy wants to be the one taken care of for once by Angel. Of course, Applejack dreams of giant apples, 'cause naturally. And Rarity dreams of fantastic dresses. None of the dreams are outside of character, but it does give you nice little nods about what they think about in their living world. But the Tantabus ruins each of these dreams. The funniest, of course, being Rainbow Dash, being driven into a sunshiny, fun world where there are singing flowers that oddly know how to play flutes with the 1980s theme song, which drives Rainbow Dash crazy, as well as old fans. Fluttershy Angel turns giant evil. The books start attacking Pinkie Pie has to deal with evil cakes, and Rarity has to deal with evil dresses. Meanwhile, Applejack's farm goes the way of bats. But Luna interferes in each of these dreams, chasing the Tantabus out, but unfortunately able to capture it, she loses complete faith and self-confidence in herself, becoming becoming wrecked, and also explaining that the creature has the ability to enter the living world if gained enough power, which ultimately it almost does, thanks to a mistake by Pinkie Pie. In her dream, she dreamt of the entire town of Ponyville, which, as Luna explains, if you dream of another person, the Tantabus instantly connects, almost like a bridge. So, thanks to Twilight's thought process, they all decide to have one major group dream throughout the city of Ponyville. One that is very tasking for Luna to keep up. This is, of course, a brand new division for Luna's dream powers and really how they work. We've always assumed how they work, but this is the first time we've seen the process, and it's quite amazing on a special effects standpoint and quite simple to understand. She literally tethers herself, almost like a USB cable, to each dream member. But the more people she's tethered to, the more power it takes. And thus we get to a fantastic third act, filled with references galore. Ditsy Doo is back, but we also get a speaking role from Filthy Rich, and some other sub-ponies get involved too. And at first, it's a giant freaking nightmare. Not good for anybody. It's when all hope seems lost that Twilight reminds them that they're in a group dream. So they start dreaming big. Spike dreams of his form in Dog and Pony Show. Fluttershy now controls the monstrous Angel. Big Macintosh is a unicorn apparently in his dreams, and has a Sailor Moon style power-up sequence to a superhero. Now how funny is that? Meanwhile, other sub-ponies lend a hand, but it doesn't seem to be working out. And this is when Luna finally reveals the truth about why the Tantabus was created. She has used the Tantabus as a form of self-punishment and self-guilt for the mistakes she's made as Nightmare Moon. And as she's feeling more guilty about her inability to stop it now, it grows more powerful. Self-guilt and beating yourself up over what seems to be a lifelong mistake was once again a message brought upon last week. But this talks about the second level of that lesson from Amending Fences, about what seemingly seems like the unforgivable mistake. Like possibly committing a crime or breaking up with somebody and never seeing them again. The kind of things that delve people into depression. And really, that's what this message and this episode is ultimately about. Luna has been living in a pseudo-depression since her time being back from being the evil Nightmare Moon, trying to live individually every day, step by step, but ultimately not getting over her demon, which is similar, of course, to the Nightmare Rarity arc. But the solution to Nightmare Rarity is exactly the same here. She learns to trust in all the good that she's done and all the friends that she's made. Once she accepts that she's a different person, the Tantivus loses all of its power and returns to Luna proper, thus saving the living world from a hellish setup. There are references to power ponies, with both Applejack and Rainbow Dash turning into their power pony forms also in this episode. Plus, the dragon from Dragonshy can also be seen in a scene, as well as the temple from Daring Don't can also be spotted, on top of other references. Once again, this proves that the side pony thing from Slice of Life for the 4th week in a row is no understatement. And the underplayed lesson about depression and forgiveness also piggybacks well off of last week's episode. The special effects in different World of Dreams are as good as ever, and we learn a lot about Luna's character and personality here, and what she expects of herself. That was her biggest problem. She felt responsible and decided to take complete and total charge of the situation. But the situation got quickly out of hand. And that's when you trust in your friends, when a situation truly gets out of your control. But not wanting to let anybody down or have another massive failure can sometimes prevent you from moving forward and making beautiful lifelong decisions, and it can keep you away socially from understanding all the good that your friends have done post your mistake. It's something that most people with depression, formerly me being one of them, often have to deal with. They often after depression, they often think about all the bad things they did during the depression, or the things that may have caused it and caused themselves to lap back. But it's only through the support of others, friends and family, that often people with this problem can vastly recover and learn to carry on and become something new, and learn to trust in themselves and in others to give strength. Oftentimes, when we self-defeat ourselves, we often have to remember that there are people that care. There are people that have seen all the good that you have done and have vastly forgiven and learned to trust. It's only when we learn to trust ourselves and trust that our direction is right that things tend to change for us. And that's the lesson that Luna learned here. To yes, never forget the mistake, but never let the mistake of doing something horribly wrong affect your life, affect your ability to do things right, and affect the ability to move on. A failure is only a failure if you fail to become strong. That is the lesson here. And this episode most certainly ends the first 13 on as strong of a note as ever. Although the pacing, especially in the last act, can be incredible. incredibly rushed. There's a lot of exposition dump, which could be a big problem, but the exposition dump is nicely detailed and well done. Special effects are done well, and of course, it's always good to see our Princess of the Night, and this is her coming out party, her biggest episode to date, and she pays it off in spades. The dream effects are unique, and the side dreams and references are comical, funny and well timed. As well, it's a nice revision of a story from the comic books, and done very well in a 22-minute span. A nice way to end the first half. Although not perfect, it's solid, and once again proves this show's lesson power. Just like last week, I give Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sleep, and I would be remiss without talking about the title. It's a reference to a world famous book. Do robots dream of electric sleep? Also, this show loves making book references. But I'm pleased to give this episode, with the longest title in the history of the franchise thus far, a 5 out of 6. A good way to end the first half and the start. Hopefully not too long of a break. But don't you worry. We will still have pony content. Why? Because I will continue my journey through the My Little Pony comics through the Pony Panel series, which I will give you a link to the playlist in the description below so that you can catch up and stay in touch. That, of course, is after you subscribe. So, until the next video, I am Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. And oh, by the way, if you're wondering where the friendship table is for amending fences, we're gonna do that next week, as well as the friendship table for this video. See you next time.